Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Didn't do that. I am one third of the host of the Burning Truth. I am Matt Burns.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am 2/3 host of the Burning Truth. I am John Bloor.
And I am the whole James Irvine.
I could add something to that, but I'm not being mean.
Let's not go down that rabbit hole again.
But anyway, would JB, would you please do the honours of
The warning?
Yes, please.
Yep. The following broadcast will contain discussions on the topics of professional wrestling and potentially other subjects which may contain language not suitable for younger listeners, listeners of a nervous disposition, and easily offended listeners. It may also contain topics not suitable for other listeners and on rare occasions may contain strobe lighting effects.
Right. So now, yeah. Right. Basically, in case you're wondering if this sounds very, very rushed, how we've just done that entire introduction, that is because if you were actually originally listening on this episode, just today, which was started about 45 minutes ago, I believe.
Yeah, roughly started on time when it should have gone out at just on 6 p.m. UK time.
Yeah, you would have probably been hearing. Then all of a sudden, Martin noticed that there was some massive technical glitches. I will state to this is we have had some massive technicals issues, which is why we are now actually airing live much later than usual, and due to time fitting scheduling between the three of us, we are now having to fitting a damn lot of content in such a small time.
And so, without further ado, we need to start with the topics. And the first one is...
Well, actually, before we even get to the actual topics, what we just need to just cover is our usual spiel, which is the fact that we are usually going to be, we are always going to be covering Black Lives Matter and, of course, hashtag Speaking Out. As we've always stated with them subject, we have a mic, we have some airtime. If anybody wants to use it to put their thoughts, their discussions in regards to the either one of these subjects, they are more than welcome to. And
under the proviso that, of course, they've been fact-checked first and they haven't got anything to say, which is potentially going to get either them or us sued.
Ding, ding, ding.
Basically,
speaking of which...
Wait, before we get on to it. Speaking of which basically means... nothing libelous, nothing that is basically incorrect, and basically we don't want to get our asses lawsuited. Oh, basically we don't want to get sued.
No.
Right.
Lawsuit.
I think what he was trying to say is sued and lawsuited at the same time, and he invented a new word.
Yeah.
On the subject of speaking out, however, I believe Mr. Irvine has something specific he wishes to share with us.
The floor is yours.
Obviously, for everybody that's already that was already listening, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to listen to it again. But it's regarding hashtag Speaking Out. It is not just a movement against people who have abused their position or being outed due to sexual abuse. There is actually a subject regarding hashtag Speaking Out, which I don't feel gets enough coverage, and that is bullying. Bullying within the wrestling industry is quite rife, and I've actually heard stories myself lately that really, really angered me, really fucking touched that nerve, that's one nerve that when it's touched, it really stings.
Basically, I believe that would be what we could consider the Irvine button.
Yeah, the Irvine button. It's not self-destruct. It's like, I'm zoning in, you're targeted, you're in my sights, I'm going to press the fucking button, I'm going to blow you away. It's that simple. So what it is I heard that, a certain people have been bullied by, not being booked by bookers for, being overweight, for not having the right look, or some sort of bullshit.
However justified the booker feels they are for what amounts basically to bullying.
Exactly. And they may not see it as bullying, but there is this whole persona of being old school behind the scenes that
Which
it's
I
got
think you're about to say basically allows for a heck of a lot of what in normal circumstances would be considered bullying, but because of that they tend to get away with it.
exactly, and they try to cover it up by saying, "Oh, it's banter." No, it's not fucking banter. The banter that Matt Burns and JB have, that is banter. We laugh and joke with one another before the show, after the show. That is banter. Saying that you're not booking somebody because they're overweight is not banter. That is fucking evil.
It really is. Banter is people who know each other, who trust each other, and who like each other, making mild jokes at each other's expenses. Basically, borderline bullying and harassment does not come under the term banter. Never has, never fucking will.
Maybe back in the 70s, you used to get away with it, but this ain't the 70s, guys. Fucking get with the times.
Yeah.
I hate to sound like this way, but I just felt like saying, get with the times, bro.
Yeah, very with the times, bro. I like what you did there. But no, seriously, all joking aside, this is not a joking matter.
No, it is not. And it really, really, really gets under my skin. And I will say to people that have been through this, please, please, please contact us to discuss what you've been through. Obviously, we only deal in facts. We don't want anything that's libelous or, anything that hasn't been proven. We want to hear from you because I want to reassure you as human beings that you are not the only one that has been there. You're not the only one that has been through these kind of things. But we can also be that, what do you call it? That not shoulder to cry on, but
sounding board. Is that the phrase you're looking for?
Yeah, we are here to listen. If you've got nobody else to talk to,
yeah,
we're always willing to lend a bit of our time just to discuss these situations. If you want a bit of advice, we're more than happy to give out our toothpenneth on the subject. And like I say, it's not funny. It's not funny. It's
not big and it's not clever.
No, it's not. And I will be your voice if you wish me to be so. I will be your voice because I'm tired of bullies. It's got no place in society. It never has, and it never fucking will. It's not big. It's not clever. It's not smart. It doesn't make you look good. In fact, it makes you look a bit of a cunt. And then the ones that are out there at this moment in time listening to this show, and whether it be now or in the future, and you have been and you are one of those people that are bullying, you will be outed. You will be outed. And if I find out, I will happily be the voice for everybody who hasn't got the confidence to do so.
Yeah, and for those listening as well who are one of them, it's just a locker room, it's not real life. No, real life is everything, and a locker room at a wrestling show is included in that. There is no exemption just because it's you and your mates doing banter, in inverted commas. Yeah. No, doesn't count. It's still bullying. Still stop it.
There are things that go on in the locker room that obviously, for whatever reason, I don't want to particularly get into details with. I'm not naming names, but there are things that are seen as old school. Well, I'm sorry, but no. There is no terminology for being a dick other than being a fucking dick.
He's old school is no excuse for not following the first rule of progress, frankly.
Exactly.
And for those that are hard of hearing at the back and who have never heard me say this before, what's the first rule of progress? Don't be a dick.
Exactly. Don't be a dick. Obviously, I've got more colourful words that I could add to that, but I won't. Rather, at this time, I actually want the input from somebody who's very silent in the background there.
Yes.
Would you agree, Mr. Burns?
100%. And the reason why I was being quiet is because, as I said before you started, the floor is literally yours. I felt as though I want you to have your say, because simply at the moment in time, it's it's fine me just sitting there and saying and putting my oomph into it first, because the fact is, a lot of people can turn around and say, well, aren't you a wrestler and also a promoter / booker? Yes, I am. And someone could turn around and say, but couldn't you be also adding to this situation as well? Well, in some cases, yes, I could be, but here's the funny thing about it. At this moment in time, I've actually got a group of people, cohorts, colleagues, and friends who will sit there and will more than likely, if I did something like this, call my ass out and tell me to my face so I can pretty much correct it.
Much the same way that within the Burning Truth, the three of us, if any of us oversteps the line, one of the other two, if not both, will immediately say so. The people in the organisation in which Matt Burns is a part, be he the head or not, are the kind of people, A, who will say something if he steps out of line, and B, who he can trust to tell him in good confidence and not to be, not to say it for the sake of it and cause drama where there isn't any. They're genuine friends who, if he crosses the line, will tell him, and more people need someone like that.
Genuinely. Yeah. And the fact is, I just thought as though me interrupting Irvine at that moment in time would, I didn't want it. I wanted him to get his message across, because it is true. And the fact is, me being silent and letting him get that message across speaks more of a volume than me trying to overspeak him. And that's just my preference, and nothing against JB at all, because he was adding in as well his 2 cents, which
I was going to say, my preference was much rather that we had a conversation necessarily than just, a rant is suitable in some cases, but in this one, it needs to be something where we show we're all on the same page. And 100%. I was trying to do that.
Yeah, 100%.
My apologies if I was stepping on your toes.
No. Everyone speaks differently. On top of that, the other reason why I was quiet is because being somebody who's actually been on the end of this sort of thing.
Yes.
And I was sitting here thinking to myself, I know exactly what he's on about, because I've actually been on the end of this, and the shocking thing about it is, here's the thing, I could throw names, I could throw shade, I could throw mudslinging and everything if I wanted to, but there's no point, because
it doesn't benefit anyone to do that. It
doesn't benefit anybody. The fact is, when it happens, I quickly moved on, right? Yes. And pretty much just go out, and I went elsewhere. Now, the fact is, did one of them eventually come back and speak to me? Yes, they did. Did things get progress further? Potentially, yes, they did. But as for that, that's between me and that promoter, that organisation, privately. That got dealt with, privately, which is correct.
It got dealt with in the sensible, appropriate adult way, which is privately between the people involved, and rather than, slinging your dirty laundry in public, which is what usually ends up happening and which doesn't really do anyone any favours.
Correct. So that's why there's no necessity of mudslinging or anything, because the second that happens, doors immediately close. On top of that, I will just state this. If anybody, so when Irvine was just there saying, you wanting to hear an ear from us, to discuss about it, just know that you are not alone. Some of us, some of us have actually experienced it. We may not have exactly experienced the situation that you've experienced, but here's the thing: we are here for you. And the funny thing about it is, when Irvine mentions about it being bullying, Be it either, it doesn't just go for just weight. It doesn't just go for anything. Be it either weight, looks, what gender, what orientation
gender,
you are,
appearance,
any of
anything at all
is not as out of order. The fact is, with it, if a promoter isn't going to book you, it should be you can either, a booker doesn't have to necessarily have to give a reason why. But personally, me personally, I've always stated if you're not going to book somebody, just state the honest reason why. Be it probably you don't think if you don't think they're good enough, just say, be honest. Or if necessary, if you don't want to hurt the feelings, just say not interested in booking you and leave it there.
Yeah. By the same token, obviously, abide by the rule of if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything. You can't, if your only options are to make up or use your opinions in a way that are potentially harmful or bullying, or to simply say we just don't want to book you at this time, just say that. It gets the point across that the person is not wanted. It doesn't hurt any feelings, and nobody goes away thinking anybody else is a dick.
Pretty much. And
Can I just point out as well, just before you carry on, just need to point out as well that it's not just promoters that we are aiming this at, by the way. It's also other wrestlers, anybody that could be working behind the scenes, basically. So it's not just that. We are...
It is true that predominantly, in our experience, promoters are the worst offenders, but they are by no means the only ones.
No. Yeah. Or even fans. Even fans could even come down to this saying...
Oh, absolutely.
Anyone can come under this category, and I believe I've got to say Irvine was on the same wavelength as me, as just when you interrupted me, you actually interrupted me from saying the exact words. So
there you go. We're on the same page. Well,
which is a good general idea.
Yes.
The point being is, the fact is, like JB has stated on it, Progress Way, which is basically don't be a dick.
Yeah, it's a very good way to live your life, because think about how your words are going to be taken. Is someone going to think you're a dick as a result? If so, yeah, probably best if you reword them.
And on top of that,
through life is that every action has a reaction, whether it be positive or negative.
Yeah. And you also, coming back to the mental health issue, which we get towards normally at the end of the show, but just bringing that on board a bit here, you may affect the person that you are saying these things to, that you think are completely off the cuff, in a far deeper way than you ever realise.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's a whole can of worms you don't want to open.
Exactly. So what I think we should do there is take all that into consideration, know that we're here for you guys, whatever you want to talk about, but I do believe that we should kick on a little bit.
Yes, I think that's enough on that subject for now. Yep, so we should close the door on that one, because
pretty much
we've got plenty more to talk about.
Pretty much. Just took the words out of my mouth. And all I'm just going to say is...
got the non-wrestling... Sorry, we've got the non-wrestling stuff, the epic wrestling moment / epic wrestling fail, and the main topic for today, which is wrestling, which is coming up next. So that's more than enough to be getting on with. So,
pretty much.
Sorry, Matt Burns, you were just going to finish that bit off?
Pretty much. And all I'm just going to state is you both took the words straight out of my mouth in many of them sections of that entire subject. And all I'll just state is our social media isn't just open just for, if you just want to just generally discuss in regards to that subject. It is always open, be it either new topics, even if you just want to just chat.
New topics, to get in touch with us about something we've already said. If you just want to say, hi, how are you? Yeah, that's fine. It's social media. That's what it's for.
To believe we are actually approachable.
Yeah, we are actual real human beings who you can approach outside of the small window each week when you listen to us rant and possibly say productive things. It depends what mood we're in. So yeah, get in touch.
Not all of us are monsters in our minds. I say.
What? This guy monster.
Just don't make sense.
Anyway,
Moving swiftly on,
that
we need to
aside-
talk about
That's
Survivor
fine.
Series.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll just say what we've done is this week we have allocated ourselves 10 minutes apiece to discuss Survivor Series. Now, if you already tuned in before, then obviously you would have heard mine.
Well, you
so-
may have or may not have.
We don't know how much you could hear, to be honest. If you could hear it, great. If not, we
Great.
apologise.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass the floor to one of my colleagues, because obviously I will leave mine till last this time, because obviously
You
No,
want to
that's
catch your
fine.
breath?
a lot
So-
quicker.
You want
Yeah.
to catch your breath?
I think that's basically it. Yes, he does.
Okay. So, JB, do you want to go first?
Yeah, all right, I'll go if you wish.
The short straw.
All right, okay. Hold on, let me just have a double check here what time it is according to the clock on the screen. And what have I got? 10 minutes.
10 minutes, but don't worry, I've already got a basically a stopwatch to basically
Yeah.
make it.
Is it basically the case of it's 10 minutes, but I can do less because I've got
Yes.
a feeling? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Right then.
Egghead timer as well.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So with that in mind, Matt Burns, start the clock.
The clock has started.
Right then, Survivor Series 2020. Oh my days. Yet another advert in a 3-hour nutshell of how WWE is so conflicted at the moment. How within the span of one pay-per-view it can do so many things right and so many things so very, very wrong all at the same time. I think I'm going to go through this match by match like Mr. Irvine did previously, because that just fits the structure of the segment. But essentially, the matches went as follows. The initial match was a dual brand battle royal, which was won by The Miz in a really, really played out shitty way, if I'm brutally honest. You got the false hope of everyone going, "Oh, Dominic Mysterio's going to win. Fantastic." And then The Miz did something really suspect, which, hint WWE, if the commentary team has to explain something, it doesn't work. Yeah? So The Miz getting knocked out to the apron, over the top rope, rolling about a foot back in under the bottom rope, and therefore uneliminating himself, and then being drop kicked to the floor. Nobody saw that, apart from maybe the very select crowd let into the building on that side of ringside. And so the commentators had to explain why The Miz wasn't eliminated after he'd apparently gone out over the top rope and clattered to the floor. And it was a bit of a letdown after everyone thought, "Oh, they're going to let Dominic Mysterio win. Ooh, future. Yay, he's great. Oh, God, The Miz has won. Does he really need to? He's Mr. Money in the Bank. Who cares?" So, yeah, potentially it was what it was. It was a battle royal. They are what they are. It could have had a great ending, and they pulled the rug out from under us. Typical WWE. They then continued to pull the rug out from under us in the god-awful clusterfuck that was the men's Survivor Series 5-on-5 elimination match. I don't have too many things to say about this that are positive and coherent. I do tend to descend into just streams of invective and language that will make a pimp blush. But I will sum it up in this way. 1, what was Seth Rollins doing? What is Seth Rollins doing generally? He added nothing to this pay-per-view. Why was he on the card? What did it achieve? I have no idea. 2, what was the deal with the result whereby all of Team Raw survived, despite the whole build-up being that they were massively dysfunctional? And, C, oh, wow, they're actually starting to rehabilitate Jey Uso. Yeah, he's actually fighting 5-on-1, and the odds are against him, and he might eliminate a couple of people, and it might start to build up the amount of massive damage getting mullered by Roman Reigns for 2 pay-per-views in a row of done. Oh, no, he's been eliminated as well. Never mind. He's still a joke, and so was this match. Moving on. Street Profits versus the two-man New Day of Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods for, well, it was a champions versus champions tag team exhibition match. And oh my God, from the lows of the Survivor Series match to the highs of this, remember what I said about how they can get everything wrong and then everything right? These two matches encapsulate that in a nutshell, because this match was two of the best tag teams in the business left alone to do what they do best, and as a result it was far and away the match of the night. And in my opinion, the right team won as well, because the Street Profits, who are, I believe, are they technically two-time champs now because they swapped the Raw for the SmackDown titles? I don't know how that works officially, but got one over on the 10-time champs, the New Day, and that was the right decision because it set up a new legitimate tag team threat. If the Street Profits weren't considered that already, this underlines it finally. Oh, and it was a really good match. Did I mention that? Yeah. From highs to lows again. Lashley against Sami Zayn in the battle of the disgusting championship designs. Everyone knew what was going to happen because Lashley's a beast. Sami Zayn, for all his wrestling skills and for all his promo ability, is half the guy's size. So it was what it was. It was everything you'd expect. It lived up or down to your expectations, depending on how little you had. I personally had none, so it was fine. Lashley won. Let's move on. The rebuilding of Sasha Banks continues apace, although at the expense of Asuka, who they don't seem to be able to build up for more than a minute at a time without knocking her straight back down again in the women's champion versus champions match, which I could have built a case for either person winning. I'm okay with Sasha winning because it highlights her upward streak at the moment. And it was a good match. It was okay. It's just a shame that it had to be followed by the other Survivor Series elimination match, this time the women's edition, which was as pointless as its men's counterpart, full of unnecessary inter-team bullying on Team Raw and the most pointless finish to a match since, the pre-show Battle Royal. The only survivor, and WWE, just a case in point, by the way, this is what a sole survivor is. It's when there's one person left, and they are the sole, meaning only, survivor. You're not a sole survivor if three of your team survive, okay? It's an important semantic point. You need to learn this. My point was Lana was the sole survivor after a crap double count-out finish meant that Lana, who, for reasons that you'll have to watch the show, was stood on the steps, not being allowed by the rest of her team to be part of the match, and yet she won. So far, so bullshit. Whatever. I'm sorry, but when the women's division is booked like this, all the efforts of the women's revolution and everything else that they went through are just constantly undermined because this was a massive fucking waste of the chance to A, promote Bianca Belair, B, re-establish Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan as a functioning tag team that might be able to challenge for the tag team titles, and C, just not make Lana look like a dick even though she won. But they managed to do that anyway. Moving on to the main event, the champion versus champion singles match, Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. Great match. These two knock seven shades of shit out of each other. They have great matches. I don't think it's possible with the streak he's on at the minute for Drew McIntyre to have a bad match. It was probably the second best match of the night. My only gripe was with the finish, which involved Jey Uso getting involved contrary to everything that's been happening on television, where he's been constantly buried, belittled, and made to feel like a nobody by said Roman Reigns. He helped him and helped Roman to defeat Drew McIntyre. Now, from the perspective of look at Drew McIntyre, no one's beating him when he's on his game, and he's thoroughly on his A game at the minute. Roman's a shit heel. He's going to have to cheat to win. That makes sense. But how much more are they going to bury Jey Uso before they realise if you don't stop in a minute, he's going to see sunlight and kangaroos? Seriously. Enough is enough. And that was a somewhat lackluster ending to, well, an incredibly hit and miss show. Oh, wait, no, hang on, because it wasn't the ending. Because then out came a big troop of legends, all dressed like dress down Friday in casual and Kane in full ring attire, because I think it's important to point out, if he's wearing the red and black and the mask, he's Kane. If he's wearing a suit and tie, he's Mayor Glenn Jacobs. They have to make that differentiation. All came down to the ring and then got out of the ring again and stood around the outside like spare parts while The Undertaker was given time to cut a farewell promo, which in and of itself was fantastic and provoked all the emotions that it needed to for the end of an epic career. But it did raise the question as to why the legends needed to come out if they weren't going to actually participate, e.g. if they weren't going to have a beer bash or something to see off the career of an absolute legend, since Stone Cold... Was Stone Cold even there? I'm not even sure off the top of my head.
No.
But he wasn't. Okay, so there you go then. That's why that didn't happen. Great segment, possibly a little bit understated for a 30-year career, but I question the point of the legends coming out if they weren't going to interact. And I don't know if that's my time, but if not, I'm pretty damn close. So overall, 2 out of 5. A couple of great high spots, but the lows far outweighed the highs, and overall, must do better, WWE. Over to you, Matt Burns.
Right, so is that all your time?
I'm pretty sure to within about 10 seconds, that's it, yeah.
There we go. The alarm's just gone off. Well, the bell's just gone off, which has just gone off. Well, not literally. Oh, wait, hang on. I believe that's... The bell's just being heard probably right now for everyone to hear.
Yeah.
There we go, for the 10 minutes to go off. Well, anyway, I believe this is going to be my time, correct?
Yeah,
unless Mr. Irvine would like to go first, yes.
I will say, good use of your time. You literally dragged it to the last few seconds.
Yeah, I agree with that. That was pretty spot on.
I am a broadcast journalist. I can say and do whatever I want. Anyone would think I practiced, but I didn't. It was just luck.
Anyway. In case somebody just heard just what sounded like a school bell, that will be the bell for the when the time limit is up. But
yes,
anyway,
which you are now going to reset for yourself.
Which I'm just about to reset for myself, and I'm going to start my timer from now. Anyway, my thoughts on the actual overall of the Survivor Series is a bit of a mixed review, because they had some interesting matches, some really, really good matches, but then they also crapped on it by having some matches that were just, really? Why are we going down this corridor, and what was the point in that? As my colleague stated, the breakdown of each match is probably the best route of going down it. So we're going to start off with the 80-man dual brand battle royale, which was okay. I understood it. The problem is, what was the reason for it to be there? Oh, let's just get somebody over. So it looks like they were building up to, as my colleague was saying, Dominic De Mysterio was about to get the big win and everything, but they then let The Miz get the win using the... he called back in, and it just seemed a bit stupid for The Miz to win it, because he is Mr. Money in the Bank. Last time I checked, when you're Mr. Money in the Bank, you get pretty much crapped on throughout most of the year, and then pretty much come out the victor on top by coming out with the championship. Why the fuck is he getting over? Unless their translation going to have The Miz trying to cash in and lose it immediately. But for God's sake, get somebody else over other than the usual fucking lot. Get somebody new over. Like, wait. Where was the Money in the Bank briefcase originally? Oh, that was right, on fucking Otis, a new guy. But no, they couldn't do that because he's Otis and he won't get over. Wait, he was getting over. Never mind. Let's move on. 5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match. My thoughts on this is the fact that Team Raw had to win this because... And the weird thing about it is they had the most to lose. And yet, I had to expect Team SmackDown put up a great fight with Kevin Owens and Jey Uso at the very least. And Seth Rollins and Otis. King Corbin, maybe. The point being is, what was so stupid with this is the fact that you got Seth Rollins, who literally kneeled and said, "I'm the sacrificial sacrifice." Why are you there? What the hell's going on? What are you doing? No, instead he decided to just eat a foot to get pinned. No, if you want to just get eliminated, why don't you just fuck off down the round, get counted out, or lie on the floor, just get fucking pinned and move on. No, I want you to kick me in the face. Translation, does Seth Rollins have some sort of kink that we don't know about? Who knows? Who gives a shit? Let's move on. The point being is, Team Raw ended up winning with a clean whitewash. Why? We had to wait until next week, the following day on Monday Night Raw. Oh, they might get a championship match. Did we know then? No, we did not. Why the fuck were they even fighting? Oh, because they want battle supremacy. What's the victory for winning it? Oh wait, WWE didn't even have a checkerboard to even count who was up or who was winning on the actual event. But guess what? The Burning Truth did, and we made sure to make note of which brand was dominant on the night. So there we have Team Raw 1. Miz, last time I checked, he's a Raw superstar, so that's how many? Oh, 2. So 2-0 to Raw beating SmackDown. Great start. Then we have the Street Profits versus the New Day. This match was absolutely by far one of, and I know that some of them may disagree or may agree with me on this, but there is 2 matches of this night that I thought could be easily match of the night candidacy. For me, this was my match of the night because I've always been a lover of tag team matches, and this match was absolutely brilliant. It told an amazing story. Yes, Big E was there, and then suddenly disappeared. No idea why. But the point being is, it was to advertise their appearance
Gears
in
of War
a
plug.
game of Gears of War 5. Okay, great plug, but then why the fuck did they just let Big E go missing? Okay, fair enough. But then again, he probably went missing because he didn't want to get involved because it's his brand against his best buds. Fair enough. But anyway, what was so interesting in this match is that it went back and forth, and the fact that throughout the match, you could see that the New Day ended up went for their... The weird thing about it is they don't normally do the Midnight Hour as a finisher, if I'm not mistaken. They actually have another tag team finisher that they normally use to end a match, which is a backbreaker and stomp, if I'm not mistaken. Now, in this match, they went for the Midnight Hour with Xavier Woods picking, doing the pickup, Kofi hitting the drop, and then not getting the win. And what was so poignant and clear on the commentary team was the fact that the Midnight Hour did not get the win. Normally it gets the win, but then again, take into account what's the difference? Big E's not there, so straight away that puts the emphasis on, puts the doubt in New Day's mind. Can the New Day get the win without the muscle of Big E? Which was great, and it was great that the Street Profits managed to get the win, because it's almost like, like I've been saying earlier, let's get the new guys over, because, the New Day are already currently over because they're multiple tag team champions. Moving on to the next match, which is champion versus champion, which was the United States champion versus the Intercontinental champion, Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn. I wish I actually followed you guys in the fact of voting Bobby Lashley to go over Sami Zayn, because, my God, the curse of Sami Zayn is still conquering. I'm a champion, but you're still going to fucking lose regardless. If I'm not mistaken, a certain tall, bald guy from, I believe, What Culture, also known as Baldy Baldy, also known as Simon Miller, has a countdown for how many losses that Sami Zayn has while he's been Intercontinental Champion, and it's still increasing, for fuck's sake. Right? The fact is, I like the fact that you got Sami Zayn trying to cheat out of, trying to cheat by, scheming and everything, but, having the Hurt Business there, just, it's a heel versus heel match. In this, who the fuck are we meant to boo and who are we meant to cheer? Oh, it doesn't matter, who gives a fuck, that's how much time it had. WWE just didn't care. It had, the shortest match on the card? That's right, shortest match on the card. 7 minutes and 50 seconds. Move on. Let's move on to Sasha Banks versus Asuka. My God, what a match. Loved it. Would have liked to have seen Asuka get the win, but I'm fine with Sasha Banks getting the win. But the only problem I had with this is the fact that the commentary team made it a bit too clear that Sasha was going to be winning, because they literally stated, oh, Sasha Banks has never beaten Asuka fair and square. The only time she has won was when it was a count-out victory. Even though, yes, a lot of people would have been screaming then saying, didn't Sasha Banks take the World Championship off Asuka? Yes, she did, but she won it because she, it was during a special stipulation. If Asuka got counted out or just DQ'd, the championship would have been changing hands. That didn't make it too easy and predictable. But anyway, moving on from that little bit. But this match was absolute amazing, back to front, top down, amazing. Highly recommend it. And let's just move on to the women's 5-on-5, which is Team Raw, Team SmackDown. This match, I'm just going to summarise it very quickly. I don't give a fuck of this match. This pretty much killed the Survivor Series pay-per-view for me personally, because storytelling just gone out the window at its fives. You just buried the entire women division to put over the winner, I believe, Lana and Hal, by doing it in the most shittest way and not getting her over and having to fight back. No, let's save that for Raw. Fuck off, WWE. Who gives a fuck? Let her actually get over, and she's getting over already. She should be already there. Moving on. Amazing match. Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre. Absolute balls to the wall. Showed how it's done. And the fact that you've got Drew McIntyre, pummeling Roman Reigns throughout the match. If it was a straight up one-on-one, Drew would be going over, but Roman Reigns had to cheat, which was an absolutely amazing way of doing it, by having Jey Uso coming in and doing the cheap shot. Yes, another hit to the balls, for fuck's sake. Really, did we? But what a great way to tell the story. The fact that Roman Reigns cannot keep that championship and be at the head of the table against Drew because he needs help. And as for the segments with The Undertaker, absolutely felt sorry for Undertaker, the fact that he was having to do it in front of screen monitors instead of actually live crowd. Like we've already pointed out, just having the legends come out first and just going, well, we're here, and then straight off after the vignette. What the fuck were they doing there for? Why not just keep them in the back if necessary, or just show a vignette of them? But the fact of Undertaker's message was absolutely brilliant, and that's what I'm going to give it a overall greatness, because he got his clearance. And with that, I'm going to give this about a 3 out of 5 overall. And with that, there's my time up right now.
For timing. Interesting how many points you raised, which echoed pretty much what I said. It's good to know that we agree.
Yeah. However, I did notice you laughed at a certain comment involving Seth Rollins.
Yeah. Well, I feel exactly the same way. Right. Yeah. Your turn, Monsieur Irvine.
Are you starting the timing now?
That's down to Mr. Burns.
Hang on. Your clock starts now.
Wonderful. Right. This one will be very easy for me because obviously I'm for most of it, I'm just reiterating what the other two have said. First match on the pre-show was obviously the Battle Royal or Royale, whatever you want to call it. I'm annoyed with the fact that you just thought that teasing us with Dominic Mysterio winning to have The Miz come in and eliminate him was just ridiculous in my eyes. The Miz doesn't need the win. And it puts a bitter taste in my mouth. It's like eating spinach with dirt on. Ugh. Horrible. So yeah, I'm just going to leave that one there because The Miz doesn't need it. And there was just the whole thing about the Battle Royale is there was nothing at stake. There was nothing at stake. It would have been interesting if they'd have said like, oh, I know, let's put the Money in the Bank contract on the line or something like that. And then you could have The Miz building up to the Battle Royale and be like, I'm worried I'm going to lose my money in the bank, etc., etc. It would have been more entertaining. It would have made more sense, and it wouldn't feel like a kick in the balls. Next, we have Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, the men's elimination match. And yeah, I enjoyed some of the spots in this match, but I just didn't like the fact that all we had was this build-up to Team Raw not being able to work together. And then next thing you know, Braun Strowman shouts at him, like, why can't we all just get along? You always shout at people, Braun. So the fact that they're even listening now is just ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It don't make sense.
That makes sense.
Shut up.
Wait one moment.
So yeah, and then for it to be a massive clean sweep, I feel so sorry for Otis because obviously he's lost the Money in the Bank contract. He's on a separate brand. You know, his tag team partner practically kicked him in the balls. It's just, how much more can you shit on one superstar? It's ridiculous. And I love Otis. I think he's amazing. But yeah, it was just the way that they did the match just makes sense to me, and I didn't like it. You know, Team SmackDown was a really good team. Seth Rollins, just fuck off. Eat a bag of dicks. Nobody cares. So on that sour note, I shall move along because I'll mention Jey Uso from the main event. Next, we have the Street Profits versus the New Day minus Big E, or should I say with Big E, or something along them lines. It was a really good match. Me personally, it wasn't my favourite match of the night, but damn, what a way to put on a display for tag team wrestling. Absolutely brilliant, and I think the right team won. Because obviously the New Day, they've won the tag team championships too many times now, and just to put them over the Street Profits wouldn't make sense at all. So well done WWE there. Where I'm not going to give them a round of applause. In fact, I'm going to give them a go fuck yourself for the Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn match, because why? It's like watching Jurassic Park all over again. I'm just going to put a goat inside the T-Rex pen and hope nothing happens to it. Really? Come on. And there is no comparison there between Bobby Lashley and a T-Rex, obviously, because Bobby Lashley is bigger than a T-Rex and probably stronger than one as well. So, that being said, Bobby Lashley wins. I mean, do I need to say any more? I think I would rather give myself a pokeball wank than watch that match again. Next, I move on to, and also as well, the Hurt Business. You're doing really well with Bobby Lashley. Stop letting the WWE book it in stupid situations like this because he's getting on my tits. Lovely. Anyway, Sasha Banks versus Asuka. I wanted Asuka to win, but I'm happy with Sasha Banks winning. You're building up Sasha Banks again. Absolutely brilliant. But this whole champion versus champion thing, I'm not a fan of, because you're shitting on one title by putting another over. You're making it look weaker. To me, I don't like that sort of situation. Same with the final match is something that I want to bring up as well. But yeah, a really good, enjoyable match. They've got so much chemistry together. They bounce off one another, literally. And, it just, everything that they do together in the ring just really, really, really does put a tingle in my tummy. I feel like a Teletubby all of a sudden. I just rub my tummy and just like, woohoo, yay, look what's on TV. But it's great. It was absolutely great. Moving on to the god-awful decision to, as we were talking about bullying and the hashtag speaking out, we got Nia Jax for Team Raw with Shayna Baszler, Lana, Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce versus Team SmackDown. Somebody that's trying to be building up in Bianca Belair, which I think practically they've done a lot of disservice there because they have practically shit on her already. Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Bayley, and Natalya. Now, I had high hopes for this one going into this because I thought, yes, I got the outcome that I wanted in Lana winning, but not the way that they did it. Oh, I mean, for fuck's sake, man. What the fuck? It doesn't make sense. It's stupid. It looked like Lana was sulking, and then she was acting like a heel after she won. Just you won by default because you were told to stay on the naughty step. It's fucking stupid. So anyway, I'm not even going to get that any more time because I do my tits in, literally. So we move on now, which is going to pain me to say this. It's going to be paying me more than if I was to pull down my pants and sit on a bollard covered in barbed wire. But the Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre match was brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. Enjoy the whole storyline. It's great. I was invested. I wasn't sure that Drew would win the title back off Randy Orton prior to Survivor Series, but wow. I do think they've shot the gun too early on this match, but still, I'm just so glad because it saved Survivor Series for me. It really did. I was very, very invested. The whole, Roman Reigns hitting Drew and the Bulls to win with Jey Uso getting involved, it's fine by me. It's fine by me because Roman was the weaker of the two, and you could tell that was telling. Drew bossed that match. He was absolutely fucking brilliant. True to the word of the Scottish psychopath. Roman, obviously, he's a tribal chief, and what's the point of being head of the table if you haven't got the championship? It made sense. So he was willing to fight for that, and he was willing to do the dirty deed to keep that status, and that was fantastic for me. I loved it. But again, we go back to the point of title versus title. You're making one look weaker. Fortunately, Drew McIntyre is the WWE champion, so it doesn't hurt it that much at all. In fact, I don't think it hurts it at all. So yeah, perfect for me. Loved it. So moving on now, we've got The Undertaker's farewell. Don't think anybody warned that Kane wasn't to turn up in fancy dress, but whatever. He could have turned up as corporate Kane, for God's sake. Doesn't need to be about the mayor. Get a grip. He turned up in fancy dress. So, yeah, there we go. I'm just happy that he got his farewell speech. It was quite emotional. But I just disliked the fact that they had all the legends there, and then Skeletor came on the screen after a break. It just didn't make sense to me. It was stupid. Pointless. So, yeah, there we go. And I'm done.
Overall,
I would give it. I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. Just purely because of the Drew McIntyre and Roman Reigns match.
And there we have it. There's the time.
So what was that? I gave it 2 out of 5. Matt Burns gave it 3 out of 5. You gave it 3.5. Not really a resounding endorsement.
No, it's not, and that is a downfall. But we've had a say on it now. There are many parts that we agree on, many parts that we disagree on. A few things that we disagree on, but yeah. I'm happy. Are you guys happy with that?
Yeah.
I think we largely agree. We've got all our opinions across, and generally, I think I might be speaking for all of us when I say, WWE must try harder.
Yeah, must try harder. And the scary thing about it is, the one thing I want to point out is, the burning truth would like to hear your thoughts on the 10-minute segments that we have for each of us in regards to the pay-per-view reviews. Did you like it? Did you not? Because this is just a trial out that we are just trying, and we do actually need to have your input on this.
Would you like us to stick with the 10-minute segments, or would you like us to go back to the non-coherent ramblings?
where we talk over each other like we're doing now, and basically it's not quite as structured. Which do you prefer? Let us know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just, or if you've got a suggestion for us to try out, why not send it over?
Yeah, send it over.
Yeah, indeed. If you think you've got a better format, go for it.
Yeah, why not? I say. The one thing I did notice that we all picked up on is the fact that of Kane.
Yeah.
And yet,
we generally picked up on the same themes. The Survivor Series matches sucked. The tag team match was great. Kane, what was he thinking? And yeah, generally, the Undertaker segment could have been so much more.
Yeah.
I just don't think that Kane was the one to blame for that, though. I think that Kane was more or less the case of,
keeping
well, you know, I thought he probably thought that we were all going to be in the ring whilst the Undertaker does his speech, and you know, it would have made more sense then. But then cut to black and then Skeletor's in the ring getting all emotional. I mean, what the fuck?
Personally, what I also noticed that neither of us actually did, none of us actually pointed out, is two things. One of us, not a single one of us, pointed out that it was almost like the WWE version of All the Fools and Horses episode, where Rodney, you know exactly what I'm going to say, don't you? Where Rodney Delboy turned up to a certain party as Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, or there is also the fact of, why did not a single one of us turn around saying, why didn't you just dress up in a suit, Kane, and wear your fucking mask?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like full ring gear, and I just thought there was something more to that segment. You know, I don't know. It just, like I say, it's just ridiculous. With that being said,
on that bombshell, there is one person who actually was involved in that segment who actually agreed with us.
Okay.
Who actually even dubbed it as, really, that was it. He is known as Bear by Undertaker. And he is none other than the Godfather.
Yeah, I just about to say, I know he'd have something to say about it because him and Taker are quite close.
Oh, yes. They're very close. Very close. In case if you want to know how close, just check out Austin's Broken Skull session.
Broken Skull sessions, yeah.
One last shot with the Undertaker. Recommend that, by the way.
I loved it.
Agree.
But anyway, generally, me personally, I thought the whole 10 minutes slot was absolutely perfect for us.
I think it works. I think it's got legs.
I had something really, really Herbert-like to say then, but I won't.
Please don't. Leave Herbert in the closet.
That works, right. We do have to move on, however, so if you want to get in touch, like we said, via the social media, to tell us if you think that segment worked, if you don't, if you have an alternative one, and, more importantly, to give us your views on Survivor Series, go for it.
Yeah.
But we must move on to the next topic.
Which is a non-wrestling topic. However, there's two topics, so I'm going to let JB put out his non-wrestling topic first.
Basically, mine is just a quick thank you very much to the FIA. That is the Federation International de Automobile, the governing body which controls, amongst many other motorsport series, Formula One, for the decades-long drive they have had towards driver safety and indeed track safety, and keeping going and never ever stopping and going, everything's safe now, that's fine, realizing that nothing can ever be too safe and constantly driving to make everything better. The apex of which we saw today at the Bahrain Grand Prix, when I literally have, in my adult life, since I've been able to use language like that without getting a slapped leg from my mum, twice watched a Formula One race, seen a crash, and my instant gut reaction was, fuck me, he's dead. On both occasions, I'm incredibly happy to say I was wrong. Both Robert Kubica in 2006 in Canada and Roman Grosjean today in Bahrain survived horrendous accidents that even 20 years ago would have literally killed them outright. But basically, I just wanted to say, if you haven't seen it yet, check it out, but preferably not if you've just eaten or while you're eating, because it's, wow. It is images not for a sensitive stomach. All I will say, though, is Roman Grosjean survived, but my God. Thank you to the FIA for their continued drive for safety, because that's about the only reason that he did. And I know I've been vocal about how it looks in the past. I've called it a carry handle. I've said it's hideous and they should have used an aero screen. But since it was probably instrumental in his survival, I will never mock the halo again.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the Formula One, the actual race went, they got to lap 7 and an hour and a bit delay while they rebuilt the barriers before they did a full lap at racing speed. Because as soon as they did the restart after Roman Grosjean's hideous crash, Daniel Kvyat managed to tip Lance Stroll over onto his roll hoop, and they had to move that car as well. They eventually got the race going. Lewis Hamilton won. Nothing new there. That's fine. It was great. It was a good race, but it was a bit predictable. And I feel so sorry for Lance Stroll because he was cruising for a podium until his engine exploded 3 laps from the end, which caused the race to end under a safety car. Massive anticlimax, but just a relief that we got to the end with no one hurt, especially after lap 1.
Somebody said climax.
Cupboard.
Get back in the cupboard, Herbert. No one cares.
Sweet Jesus.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yes, Roman Grosjean alive and well. Thank fuck for that. Because if you're going to look this up in your own time, yeah, be warned. It's not for the sensitive of heart. Because after they'd established that he was okay and that he wasn't dead and that it was okay to show the replay, they showed the replay about 600 times. And even on the 600th time, when I saw the impact, every single time, I still went, fucking hell. That's how bad it is.
Yeah. It's not pretty when there's a Formula One accident at all.
No. Well, I will just give you a slight spoiler for those that haven't seen it yet. It split the car in half and burst into flames.
Fucking hell. Even I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Well, basically, if there is a call...
Just from what you've just described, and I'm not somebody who watches this sort of thing, just sounds like it's just a horror story.
Yes,
mate.
It was.
Honestly, when there's an accident in Formula One or any motorsport, nothing gets more and more messy than the TT races. Oof. And for anyone that doesn't know what they are,
the Isle of Man Tourist Trophy, I presume you're referring to the bike races around the Isle of Man.
Oddly enough, I actually do know what that is.
Yeah.
That's good then. As long as you know. But there's even the last few years there's been nothing that's held this year, but I think it was last year a particular young rider, he ended up coming off and hitting a road sign and he died instantly.
Yeah, that is always, unfortunately, the risk that you take with the TT. It's because it's on the Isle of Man track, which is public roads.
Yep.
Because it's a 26-odd mile all the way around the island type public road. It's not like Le Mans where they have the money or it's only a 2 and a bit mile track that they can afford to resurface it, move all the plant pots, bollards and road signs out of the way and make it safe. It's just not viable.
Yeah, it's like the WRC, World Rally Championships. It's exactly the same as that. It's just it's on public roads. It's on with WRC. Obviously, it's like in the days of Colin McRae going around dirt tracks and stuff like that. It's dangerous. It is what it is.
And like I say, the safety drive of everything, like in Formula One especially, has been highlighted how good they're doing. But I would just like to use this to make a soapbox case for anyone that's listening who's a Formula One fan. I think it's now time for concrete barriers and safer barriers in front of them, which are the the high compression destructible foam that NASCAR puts in front of the corners on ovals that basically stops lots of NASCAR drivers dying in really high speed oval crashes to replace Armcos at Formula One tracks, because Armcos are violently outdated and, as has been proved today, almost catastrophically unsuitable for modern Formula One cars.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
we nearly had a tragedy. I'm grateful as fuck we didn't, but it's time Armcos got removed from F1 tracks because they're no longer fit for purpose.
Okay.
Right, that's the almost somber, but luckily, thankfully, we didn't have to be because he's fine moment out of the way. What is the other non-wrestling topic that we can talk about with a bit less pensiveness?
This might depend on what year you're born, what generation you were born in, and what age group you're a part of. But Irvine, would you kindly please?
Yeah, what we are going to be talking about this week, we are going to be taking a trip down, for some of us, a small trip down memory lane, but for others, like ourselves, it's a long trip down memory lane, because we are going to be talking about classic cartoons, stuff that we used to watch when we were kids. I think, this is another part of the broadcast that we would like for you guys to get involved, because obviously if we don't mention something, are you from our era, or even if you're not,
or if it's something that maybe we enjoyed but that was 10 years before you were even born, that you're going to have to get on the internet and search for afterwards to go, what was all the fuss about with that? Yeah, we want you to get involved.
Yeah, because honestly, some of them that we may bring up, if you're younger and you don't know what we're talking about, look them up. Honestly, you won't be disappointed.
Absolutely.
So, without further ado, I think we should make a start. Would you like me to make a start?
I was going to say, how are we going to do this? Are we just going to go in turns and mention one each until we've got a good few out there, or do you guys have top 3 lists, or how's this working?
I'm thinking
is going to be general chit chat, like stuff that we can just make a start.
All right, yeah, that's cool. I'm just thinking about the time we need to cover as much ground as quickly as we can. But fair enough. In that case, yeah, Irvine, you start.
And the good thing about it, and the good thing about this, any that we do miss, don't worry, we could cover in a future part.
Yeah, much like every topic that we feel that we've covered a bit, but we haven't been exclusive on, there can always be a part 2.
Yeah,
and 3, and 4, and 12, and 87. Because I've got a feeling this is going to run and run. But anyway, Irvine, start us off, please.
Right, so when I was a kid, I was into all sorts, and no, not the sweets. I was... So, my first one that I'm going to reel off is one that I could easily sit down and watch over and over again, even today, because I'm a big kid. And that's Tom and Jerry.
Oh. Absolutely. And I would just like to add, in a similar vein, not the same, but gets lumped together by people of a certain age, Looney Tunes.
Yeah, Looney Tunes. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't
little short 5-minute runtime bits of escapist entertainment is basically what they are.
Can we just go back to thingy first, to Irvine, Tom and Jerry?
Yeah, go for it.
A minute. The amazement with Tom and Jerry is the fact of when you first if you watched it then watched it when it came back, and much to, I believe, mine and Irvine's surprise, because I believe we had this discussion last week, and then we spotted something on social media.
Oh yeah, we did. Oh yeah, because I sent it to. I tagged you in it.
Yeah.
Literally, we had just finished talking about this. We were reeling off some that we used to listen to, watching, etc., etc. And we come up, and I said, "Oh, wouldn't it be great if they did like a live action film?" And yeah. We both agreed it'd be hilarious, because it is about that time now where they start. They did it with Sonic, etc., etc. And now it's like, No sooner had I put the phone down, they released the trailer for Tom and Jerry the movie.
Live action.
Which is live action.
It's
Live
live
action.
action.
As in, it's people in suits, it's CGI, it's...
No,
It's
It's got
CGI.
live-
It is in this. It is in the form of Roger Rabbit.
Oh,
basically,
like people actually interacting with cartoons.
Yes.
yeah.
Can I be the first to say, I really hope I'm wrong here, but that sounds like a shit show in waiting.
It looks at first glance when you look at it, they're thinking it's got a lot of hype to build up to.
Yeah.
And then they have the odd classic one where you see him you just look and you think something's going to happen, and then something hilarious happens in the trailer. It's like, no, that's funny.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like it's got all that Hollywood feel about it, where it's just like, oh, it's going to be cheesy as fuck this is, but then they do the classic Tom and Jerry stuff, and honestly, I was in stitches. That's just watching.
And best thing about it is, I don't think they speak, do they?
I don't.
Well, they never used to, so it would be absolute sacrilege if they do now.
Well, they did in the movie once.
Yeah, I think the only noises that you ever heard come out of Tom's mouth is if he'd been hit by something.
They used to make noises, like sort of guttural sort of. They're a bit like they are. Tom and Jerry are like the cartoon embodiment of Dexter Loomis. If you hit them hard enough, they go ow, but they don't actually say words.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this is the thing about Tom and Jerry. It's like people nowadays, they are crapping all over video games, saying they're too violent, blah, blah, blah. I'm not being funny like that, but these are the same people that used to watch Tom and Jerry when they were kids and absolutely ate that up.
Yeah. And the same people who probably find themselves most remembering what are they called? Itchy and Scratchy in The Simpsons as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly the same scenario. So there you go. But anyway, I think now is time to move on to another one. So
before we get onto that, I just got to mention one thing of Tom and Jerry's.
Go on.
Yeah.
One episode of it, and it's an old classic one. All I'll just say is Pool Hall.
Yeah. Pool Hall, and my personal favourite is the bowling alley. Harry? Who's Harry?
Bowling alley.
Harry?
I was meant to say LA. Bowling alley.
You went bowling with Mustafa Ali. What? This is getting off topic.
No. His name's not Ali. It's Prince Ali, Prince Ali. We'll leave it there.
Slip back into the world of bollocks.
Pretty much.
Well, we've been ridiculously serious all this episode. It was long overdue, but yeah, okay, bowling alley. Yeah, we know exactly what you're saying. We concur.
Yeah, it's Harry. It's not Harry. It's Ali. Yeah. So bowling alley episode that always sticks in my mind.
Yeah.
It's more so due to nostalgia, not just because I love the episode itself, but yeah, I know a lot of my friends will agree with me as well.
Yeah.
It's one of their favourites as too. We could easily just sit there and watch it, even as adults.
Yeah. Well, that it stands the test of time means it's genuinely great. There's no argument there.
Exactly. So anyway, next one. JB, go.
Looney Tunes.
Well, hang on. What did you call it?
Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes.
Tunes, as in a corruption of cartoon. Looney Tunes. Or is it tunes?
Am I going to have to school him now?
No, you're not. Please don't, because you are really, really, really going to get a slap if you do.
Yeah, I've got a feeling not just from him either.
No, it's a Mandela effect. That's all it is. You got caught by the Mandela effect.
What? Support for the former president of South Africa? What are you going on about?
Basically, a lot of people make the mistake with Looney Tunes and thinking that it was Looney Tunes.
Oh, because I just don't know why it was spelt like that, because it wasn't musical. It doesn't need to be tunes spelt like that. It didn't have songs in it.
It
But
was
okay,
because it was
did.
part
That's
of the
not
Merry
the point.
Melodies.
Right.
Why so? Yes, we're turning something fun into something
Anyway.
that feels like I should be having an examination of my fucking prostate.
Yeah, seriously, we're trying to talk about fucking
Anyway,
Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner here. This should be fun, damn you.
Anyway, get on with it. It's
Me.
Looney Tunes. And now everyone's gone quiet.
Oh, continue, JB. Come on.
Please continue.
What? Just do that again? No, that's basically it.
No, just discuss Looney Tunes.
Oh, it's great. It's fun. It's watching a coyote try and kill a roadrunner and spectacularly failing in what was obviously a homage to Tom and Jerry, but with different animals. It's Bugs Bunny. It's Elmer Fudd. It's just
it's what actually led to Space Jam.
exactly. It's just everything that a cartoon should be. Short, sharp, irreverent, slightly crazy. If you actually stop and think about it for a second, especially when it comes to Wile E. Coyote repeatedly getting himself blown to fucking smithereens by his own devices, quite dark in places, but also brilliant for kids.
However, I've got to point this out, and this you'll all agree with me on this one. He didn't always actually, oddly, use all of his own devices. In one episode, he kept going back to a company called Acme.
Well, no, that's a running gag throughout the whole series.
He
uses Acme products.
And to make it even more funny,
what?
Did you actually ever see the episode where they zoom in on the Acme product?
No. Or at least not that I remember.
In one episode, and I'm hoping I've not been Mandela affected, it actually states on the product, handle with care, blah, 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 follow rules and engagements, but please do not attempt to use on roadrunners as they may backfire.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I legit lost my shit when watching that episode and laughed my ass off.
Even more than you would have done anyway. Yeah. That's
even more so. Because it is just gold. Because I think it was the final episode as well of it. For their stint. Not ever, if you know what I mean.
But just as that particular run, yeah.
Of that run of Looney Tunes. It was just brilliant. And take into account the fact that with it even has the classic ending line. Can anyone remember the ending line of the episodes?
What? The ending line delivered by the stuttering pig Porky?
Yes.
Yes, I can. No, I'm not doing it.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks. What a great way to put a wrap up on an episode. Short, sweet, done.
Not bettered by anyone until Charlie Brooker came along and started doing his Screenwipe TV show. When he came up with, so far, the only way to end a show better than that. Until next week, go away.
But then that depends. That depends on your sense of humour. But yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Good talking.
And even trumps my personal favourite, and on that bombshell.
Ooh. Yes. Good one. Anyway.
That's how great it is. But yeah, anyway, right. Mr. Burns, suggest or bring to the table a cartoon.
I've got to go with it because of multiple reasons, because of the many voice actors that were in it. And yeah, we actually had 2 versions of it in the UK, oddly.
2 versions?
Yes.
Of?
All I will say is, I could hum the theme tune and you'd probably know it, but won't because of just making sure just to cover our rear ends.
Yeah,
All
just in
I'll
case anyone recognises it and we get sued, or they try
Yeah.
and claim royalties or something.
Pretty much. All I will say is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Hero, because we're
Ninja.
English and we can't deal with the idea that they might be ninjas because that's violent.
Wait, that's why I said two versions.
Yes.
Ninja Turtles. Now, a lot of people didn't realise this in the UK. We actually had the other version, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
It was the same show. They just changed the title sequence and the song because
Wrong.
they figured that it was too violent to have the word ninja in it,
Wait for it.
even though the word mutant was somehow acceptable. I never got that.
The odd thing about it was, if you actually rewatch the Hero Turtles, didn't any of them use a weapon?
Yes.
No, they didn't.
Yes,
In
they did.
In Hero Turtles, they never used their weapons because they were dubbed too violent. It became weapons when they actually changed it back over to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
I would dispute that because I never watched anything other than the English dub version that was called Hero Turtles, and one of my abiding memories is whichever one it was. I can't remember. Was it the one with the orange bandana using nunchucks? It's the first time I'd ever heard of them.
Nunchucks were the only was the only actual weapon that wasn't considered a blade, which is what they actually accepted. That was the only weapon.
Did you just refer to Michelangelo as the one with the orange bandana?
Look, I know all their names and I know all the colours. Don't necessarily put the two together.
It's
in
a
my head.
cool
Look,
dude.
being a wrestler, been dropped on my head several times more than I probably should have medically.
He's
Shut
a
up.
party dude.
Oh my god.
All right then, smartass. Which one has which colour? Go on, reel it off.
No. You got the colour right.
No,
There you
because-
go then. What are you bloody worrying about?
It's just the way you said it.
Maybe I did it to provoke debate, in which case, fucking goal. Well done, me.
Anyway, the point being is amazing show, and the scary thing about it is so many voice actors in that. And for me, one voice actor that deserved massive credit, and it would belong to the person who voiced Shredder.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah.
Iconic. And a lot of people sitting there thinking, but he had that really big, whiny voice. What iconic person could voice his whiny voice? Ladies and gentlemen, that would be God bless his soul, and genuinely amazing actor, Mr. Avery.
Mr. Avery.
James Avery. And in case anybody think, where have I heard that name before? Why don't you ask Will Smith on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
But just in case you're not friends with Hollywood A-listers and Mr. Smith isn't there to ask, fill us in, why don't you?
He is Uncle Phil from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
And if you haven't watched The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where have you been?
You are no longer a friend of Mr. James Irvine, I get the distinct impression.
Yeah.
Or mine.
Fair enough. Yeah, but it's an awesome show.
Genuine.
Both The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and, if we can drag it back to the subject of cartoons, Teenage Mutant, insert the third word here depending on your preference, Turtles.
But then again, it's also had many versions when they rebooted it into the TMNT.
Oh, yeah, it's had more changes and reboots and do-overs than Power Rangers, but that doesn't mean it isn't great.
And it even eventually got rebooted even into the Nickelodeon version. And are you ready for this? Interesting fact, one voice actor, I believe, has done 2 of the 4 Turtles so far. He is hoping to get the other 2 in the future. That would be Mr. Rob Paulson.
I get the feeling I should be familiar with that name, but I'm not.
You should be.
I mean, I'm
Because-
probably aware of his voice work if he's done the Turtles because I used to watch it when I was a kid, but
Oh, definitely.
his
But
name doesn't ring any bells.
it will do later when it comes back round, because I may actually mention one of his other shows.
Fair enough. Well, okay then. I believe it's your turn to mention and bring another cartoon to the table, Monsieur L'Irvine.
Monsieur Irvine. So I'm going to bring it back round now, and I'm going to try and make this a little bit more fun. And I am going to say no, and that wasn't it. That wasn't what I said.
Right, hold on. We'll just fill and talk amongst ourselves briefly while you have a bit of a cough, and let us know when you're ready.
Oh,
Yeah, all right.
yeah, there we go. Okay.
Okay,
So,
try
yeah,
again.
okay. Right. I'm going to make it, and I'm going to say 2, because obviously it comes handy. Both of them were there was a crossover in the episodes, and that would be Ace Ventura and
And
The
The
Mask.
Mask.
Smokey.
I know
And
exactly what he's on about.
and you know why they had the crossover between the
Yeah.
two characters?
I do.
I knew Matt Burns does. What do
Because
you
of
get?
the fact that in the films they were both played by the same actor,
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Correct.
Baron James von Carey.
Yeah. So, and it, like I said,
Oh, somebody stop me.
I was just about to say that I am a massive Ace Ventura fan. I forever rewind the part of the film where they are in the projector room and he's making shadow puppets with his hands whilst he's trying to talk seriously to him. I just rewind that all the time. I've got them on Blu-ray. I could watch them all the time. I
I could
love them.
literally watch. Of course, how selfish of me. Let's go do all the things you want to do.
Exactly. And it's so much my humour, and the cartoons did not disappoint either.
No, they were.
And they really didn't. Oh,
I was
and
ever so
the
slightly
Mask-
disappointed that neither of them had Jim Carrey as a voice artist. But hey, that's great. For
But-
gripe's sake, they were still great.
Yeah, they were still absolutely brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Now, if nobody's
Hold on to your lug nuts. It's time for an overhaul.
exactly, and I just love some of the quips that he came up with. But anyway, it's just
No.
the fact that they managed to do the cartoons in the same tone of the movies,
Yeah.
is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant, and it'd be forever a fan, ever a fan.
Indeed. So,
So, with that
I
being
agree
said,
completely.
over to you, JB.
Good news, everyone. I'm going to mention Futurama now.
Woohoo!
Here, take my money.
Shut up and take my money. Yeah, what a great show.
Somebody has
I
to.
suppose, of course, because it's created by Matt Groening, you could mention The Simpsons at the same time. That came way before, done by the same people, same art style. But I'm just going to mention Futurama in its own right. Because
Actually, I'm going to have to pause you there for a second. Apologies for this. I'm about to shock you now, and it actually goes back to the Mask series.
yeah,
Do you know who that you mentioned? Do you know who voiced the Mask?
no.
Rob Paulson.
Aha! See, we don't just throw this together. It's all planned, you know.
Anyway, please continue.
Yeah. Shame it wasn't Jim Carrey, but hey, talented guy. It'll do. Yeah. Futurama. Great show. Great ensemble characters. At least one that everyone can identify with. Ludicrous plot, but who cares? It's just fun. It's just what you want a cartoon to be. 25 minutes of just switch your brain off and just have fun.
Yeah, I'm Bender.
Do you know what my... Yeah, speaking of the Acme thing from Rodon, and you know, my favourite bit of all of Futurama is, it doesn't even have words in it. It's just the bit when they're all standing there in a row being shocked by something and Bender legitimately shits a brick.
Yeah.
It's just the little things like that. The little touches that if you're not paying attention, you don't even notice. That's what make it great.
Yeah. No, definitely agreed. Definitely agreed. And the scary thing about it is, it's just so magical and wonderful on how much it's just absolutely
And I believe
brilliant.
it until a certain other show by a different creator who has several cartoons of a similar vein, animated in a similar style, came along and got cancelled about 47 times. Didn't they have the record of being cancelled the most number of times? Because I'm sure Futurama got cancelled at least twice.
3.
3 times. Oh, there you go.
Technically
But I
came
happen
to
to
an
be-
end 3 times.
Yeah, I happen to own the DVD box set of all 8 series and the 4 feature-length specials, which, despite the fact it was made afterwards and they could have been included, are not in the 8 series box set.
And the scary thing about it is, each time they came back, they were not gentle to poke fun at their former.
Poke fun at themselves, their former situation, their colleagues. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
In much the same way that after it got cancelled after one season for being dog shit, everyone in Family Guy was constantly keen to poke fun at the Cleveland show.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They keep forever dropping references, and I mean, we could easily put that within classic cartoons because, for those that don't know, Family Guy's been around for a very long time now.
As I
A
say,
lot
it's
longer
about
than
the
you
only
think.
TV show in history that's been cancelled and brought back by popular demand more than Futurama.
Yeah.
But anyway, are we done on Futurama?
Yes.
I'm gonna be mentioning
Bite my shiny metal ass.
I'm gonna mention a TV series that has had 2 versions of it, with the second one currently happening now.
Well, you do know that you love your versions, so drop it on it.
This would be the Animaniacs.
Oh my god, they remade that. Bastards. I hope they're not shitting on the legacy of the original.
No. Oh, no. They haven't remade it. They've continued it.
Yeah,
right.
For once, they've actually done something right.
Have they got the same voice actors in and the same art style and basically just carried it on?
Yes. The art style isn't exactly, but it's more cleaner.
It's probably, it's more modern and probably a bit easier to do,
No. But it's still them. It's exactly
I
them.
get that. I didn't know they'd restarted it, but I did used to love the original stuff.
I believe in America, it's on Hulu. And what's even more funny is, even on the trailer, when they even bring up the theme song, they even did like a remix version. They like how they normally say, "We've all got paid contracts."
Yeah.
You should see the on the remake trailer. You should see our renewal contract, which is basically them signing a contract with death to come back to life.
Okay, yeah, a nice touch.
Right, but it's absolutely so brilliant. The fact of with it, it's just to show it's still doing the senseless humour. And believe me when I say this, when you expect them to say, "Are they going to pull any punches?" Oh, good Lord, they do not.
The answer is no. Much like a good Family Guy episode with at least 3. You remember that time when references that make you go, "No, I don't remember that, but Jesus, that's close to the knuckle."
Oh no! They even bring up current events topics into it, and it is absolutely hilarious. And oddly enough, and I'm going to have to surprise you here once again. Guess who does voices on it?
That guy who you've mentioned about 3 times already, but whose name won't stick in my head.
Rob Paulson. In the original voice, in the original version, and the remake. Well, in the remake version, he does Yakko Warner, Pinky, and Doctor.
Same thing we do every night, Pinky.
Wait.
Oh wait, no, not that one.
No, not that one. North. I'm going to have to say the other character name without laughing my ass off at his full name.
You can try.
Which is Dr. Octo von Scratchensniff.
That is quite hilarious. Is there also a character in that called Miss Block and Tackle?
I think it was in the original series somewhere.
Yes. I seem to recall that.
But the point being is, what is so brilliant with Animaniacs, the fact that Animaniacs wasn't just amazing, the fact that it was a company of multiple shows. It was the Animaniacs, but it wasn't just the Animaniacs. It was also Pinky and the Brain. So straight away, you've got Pinky
Same thing
and
we do
the
every
Brain.
night, Pinky. Try to take over the world. I was actually going to mention them for my next go, because if anyone hasn't seen that, oh my god, you haven't lived.
But they're back.
Oh, get in.
Yeah.
They're back as well. Which is
Same
even
voice.
same voice actors, which is even better.
Has anyone seen the video on the internet where Brain goes off on one and just starts swearing? Oh, for God's sake, Pinky, you fucking ruining everything, you fucking cretin. Is there no end to your fucking idiocy? And just ranting on. And Pinky obviously, oh, you can't say that. And it's just genius.
It is just genius. And let's just say this. With Animaniacs, I have to give Rob Paulson some absolute massive credit for one song that they did in Animaniacs, which was naming all the states of America during that time.
Wow.
In
I
a song.
vaguely recall that, yes. Quick question. Are you on this Rob, what's his face's payroll? Because you mentioned him about 20 times today.
No, because...
Yeah. Are you getting royalties for this? Because we're getting left behind here.
I was going to say,
no,
it's like when we'd have a really good idea for WWE and we say, all checks payable to the Burning Truth. I never see a penny, you know. I have no idea if he actually gets them.
I'm not getting paid a penny. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because he is instrumental in multiple cartoons that we've actually watched and nobody would even realise it. He is,
no, we understand that.
He is
you
that
can
much
understand
of
why we're likely ribbing you at your own expense.
I
because.
know.
That's not the end of it. It just shows that we won't get anywhere because we don't swallow.
Tacky teeth. Must be all the pig spunk.
Bit on the chin, was it? Yeah. But anyway, all I'm just going to say is, what's even more clever is when he's been doing it at event conventions, people ask him, would he ever do an updated version? Because new states have come along.
Oh, I see.
And oddly, he has.
Oh, epic. I'm sure you can find it on the internet.
Oh, yeah, you can. Just look it up. He does it all the time, and he loves doing it. He loves doing that, that different version.
It's good that even after all this time, he still actually loves the characters and enjoys being a part of it. That's great.
Definitely. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there and just say amazing show. And one thing I will say is how they got away with some of the adult humour on that show. I have no freaking idea, because the funny thing about it is when you watch it as a kid, you don't realise the adult humour. When you're adult, oh my god!
Well, that's how, because they show it to a focus group of kids who don't get the adult jokes, so they just get under the radar.
I mean, it flies completely under the radar that much, but when you're an adult, it pretty much just boom, hits on target. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, if you'll allow me one more.
Yeah,
of course.
Go for it.
This one was instrumental to me growing up. And it's pretty much instrumental like my humour. And that's Johnny Bravo.
Ah, okay.
I absolutely love Johnny Bravo. They actually did a little one, another episode not long ago, what happened to Johnny Bravo, and he's sitting on the settee or sofa. he's just got really, really fat and he's eating loads of crap. He's just, oh, it's so funny. But I just remember some of the lines that he used to come out with. Hello, 911. I'd like to report.
I'd like to report an intruder. Oh, wait, cancel that. It's only me.
An intruder. Oh, wait, it's only me. Hey there, pretty mama. Oh, God, it's just
Now,
so...
You know what? I'm going to have to bring this up. And it does go into a bit of another cartoon because he has a crossover episode.
Gorilla the McGorilla.
No, the crossover episode I'm referring to is the Scooby-Doo one.
Yeah.
He knows which line I'm on about already, don't you?
Yeah.
It's when he has to team up with Velma, and they bump into each other, and somehow their glasses fall off and hit the floor. And Velma says her classic line, "My glasses, my glasses. I can't see without my glasses." Cue to Johnny Bravo, whose glasses off, and no one's ever seen him without his glasses. He's like, my glasses, I can't be seen without my glasses on.
Yeah, that's just great. That just proves his character is absolutely brilliant.
Which is just brilliant. And yet what's so funny is, did you know that he was actually almost coined to be a live-action movie remake to be played by The Rock?
Yeah,
Really?
I do, but I don't think that would have worked.
No, it didn't happen. And I'm really sorry for this. You're going to think I'm on the payroll.
Oh, for God's sake.
He was in one episode.
Oh God!
It just goes to show how much of a voice actor he was. Anyway, let's move on.
Speaking of voice actors, randomly, I've just had to Google this because it's like it's blown my mind somewhat. But there is a voice actor called Mark Silk, who is English and who provided the voice of Johnny Bravo for Cartoon Network, like animated bumpers, but who apparently was, shock horror, not the voice of Johnny Bravo in the original cartoon. I've met him at a Comic-Con. He never mentioned this.
No, I believe the original voice for Johnny Bravo was Jeff Bennett.
Yes. And I dare say, as lovely a chap as Mark Silk was, his Johnny Bravo, not a patch on the original. Sorry, just not.
True.
And the scary thing about it is, I believe, if I'm just trying to think who...
Do the monkey with me.
I think the person who invented him, who invented that show, would that be Butch Hartman?
Possibly. Hold on.
I think it might have been Butch Hartman who was one of the writers for it, and Seth MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane.
There you go. But anyway, the point being is, it had many, many great writers.
Yes.
For me...
Yes, Seth MacFarlane was one of the original writers, but so were about 25 other people, so to single him out is a bit unnecessary.
For me, one of my favourite episodes of Johnny Bravo, genuinely, is the one where he meets the girl for a date, a really attractive girl, and she actually agrees to it.
Yeah.
He knows where this is going already. And they decide to meet at night, unfortunately, without realising it. And then you quickly find out she's actually a werewolf.
Yeah.
See, my favourite episode is the one where he's in a restaurant and he gets pepper sprayed, tased, punched, because he goes from different woman to woman. Hey there, pretty mama. It's like,
Yeah, whatever.
hey. Oh, man. Crazy.
It was funny.
Right.
Oh, So funny.
I don't mean to be a Grinch, but we probably need to wrap this up. So,
If I'd have wrapped it up, I wouldn't have had 2 kids.
I'm talking about the broadcast, you filthy pervert.
Anyway.
Merry Christmas, you
I believe-
filthy animal.
Who went first?
Yeah, we could talk about these all day. We could mention a million more cartoons,
Wait.
but
Who went first?
Me.
Irvine did.
We've got to do one small round.
Have we? Okay
Yeah.
then.
It's only fair.
Rock and roll, Irvine Christmas. You go first again. In that case.
No, he already has.
Oh, okay.
Your turn, JB.
Oh God. Okay. Well, I can't believe we've got this far and we haven't actually mentioned Thundercats. So I'm going to put that right.
Honestly, when me and Matt Burns were reeling these off last week, we came up with loads. And funnily enough, Thundercats did come up.
Yep.
But it's just right now we just it's like Pokemon. You can't think of them all instead of can't catch them all.
Well, no, exactly. You can't think of everything. But okay, Thundercats did come up, and it was great.
Definitely.
God.
And it's well worth looking up. I'm sure there must be DVDs of it out, or is it on Netflix or something? But if it is,
whoa! Let me just point this out to you before anyone gets misconstrued. When my colleague refers to Thundercats, he means the original series.
Yes.
The original series.
The original cartoon series from, I believe, the late 80s.
Right? Which
yes.
Is great. The remake version of it was okay and told a bit more of a...
It was terrible. I don't like...
No, the remake was awful.
No. Let me just point this out. There was actually 2 remakes of it.
Okay.
The one in the middle was okay, but it's not as good as the original, but it told the themes a bit more dark and okay, that's fine. It gave a bit more of a probable cause for certain events that ended up happening compared to the original series. It told it a little bit differently, which was okay for its own era. The one version I do not want to ever hear of, and if anyone does hear of it or even try to mention it, it is more hated than mentioning the.
He's more hated than mentioning the individual with the initials VFR on this broadcast.
Yes.
Oh, you mean the ones that I that's your Christmas present.
Don't make me choke you.
To quote the random element of the Half Man Half Biscuit song, kill, 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 stab, murder, and dispatch.
Do not make me murder you.
You said choke at first. I was just about to say, oh, promises.
That's why I changed it, because I thought you might get excited. About
cartoons, let's just remember the original version, and the less said about the shit one, the better.
Yeah, the bad version does actually have a bit of a difference in it, in the title. It is Thundercats Raw. Never watch it.
Yeah, can you just not mention it then?
That's why pretend it doesn't exist. Like
that's why moving on. Moving on.
Right, we need one more from you, Matt Burns, and then we can wrap this up.
And I'm really sorry for this, but this is a legendary one. Because you mentioned Thundercats, if you're going to mention Thundercats, there is no way I am not going to be mentioning this one.
I know what you're going to say.
I can see what's coming as well, but for the sake of
and unfortunately, I'm about to get slapped in the face, by the way. When you mentioned Thundercats, that voice actor is in that as well.
Oh, for God's sake.
Fucking Christ. Will you just get off his payroll already?
I'm really sorry, sir.
Can I have some more, sir?
He's everywhere!
Please, sir.
You know what? I'm going to throw out a challenge straight after my mention. Just see if anyone can actually come up with it and be successful at it.
Right.
The life of me, throughout this entire episode, I've been trying to actually find something where he's not in it.
If you don't stop mentioning that guy's name in a minute, I am going to have to pay myself a quick visit to Booker T's Room of Candles to get some voodoo to stop you from doing it forcibly.
Right. Anyway,
yes,
I'm going to be mentioning Transformers, and yes, he is in that, of course. But anyway, moving on from that,
Transformers.
Robots.
Matt
in
Burns
the
is a
skies.
twat.
Yeah.
No, but Transformers. What a show!
And again, late on remakes, best not mentioned. And if anybody, can I just say another addition to the people who we do not mention on this show because they are basically human kryptonite, along with VFR, MFB. You know who I mean, the director of the films that shit all over the legacy of Transformers from a great height.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Just, yeah.
Because don't
Yeah.
fucking mention them. Just focus on the 80s cartoon original. That is all that we're on here because that is what is great.
Yep.
So no Michael or mention of a Doc.
Not unless you want me to say the name of your wrestling nemesis. No.
It'd be worth it though. But anyway, let's move on. The point being is, with this is, it is an absolute iconic, great toy line with it as well. And the funny thing about it is synonymous. It has had that many remakes of it, different versions of it. And yes, but the funny thing about it is, it even had an iconic movie as well. That was part of the series as well.
Oh, the original animated movie. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not the ones.
Not the collection of digitally remastered fucking CGI abortions that came later. No, don't mention them.
And you wouldn't believe this. Do you know who voiced Galvatron?
Shut up!
No, different voice actor.
Ooh.
Different voice actor. There's a reason why I'm doing this. You will understand why I'm doing this. Different
Was it the
voice actor.
Of someone who
Galvatron
is
in the
famous for
movie?
something else we've mentioned.
No. This person is something... if you're a nerd, you'll know this person. 100%. He voiced Galvatron in the movie. In case you're wondering, he did some sort of show that involved space and spaceships. And exploring space.
Did it involve a large amount of stars and long walks, or a word that involved walk?
Yes.
It reminds you of that.
Yes.
That also spawned a god-awful song.
It is. Anyway, the point being is...
If you're not aware of that, lucky you. But no, let's not go there now. Anyway, are you possibly referring to... Actually, no, I can't think. No, my mind's gone completely blank. Tell us who it is.
Mr. Live Long and Prosper. The one and legendary, and God rest his soul, Leonard Nimoy.
Yes.
We got there in the end.
Hooray.
He did such a good version of him.
He really did.
Such a good version. But anyway, the fact is, Transformers was absolutely immense. It ended up going into like a second version of it, then going into, I believe, Beast Wars. It just kept going and going and going. But the good thing about
it was such a good concept.
It's a good concept, and it's to this day. I believe it's still in use to this day.
Yeah, having its legacy shat upon on a great height by he who shall not be named.
I'm not on about that. No, I mean it's still even being continued on from others other than him.
Really?
Yeah. It's actually online.
I just feel sorry for anyone under the age of about 15 for whom Transformers only means those large cinematic pieces of excrement, because they're missing out so much.
Yeah, believe me when I say this is how much of a popular series it is. I've got the original lot catalogued on DVD, every single episode.
I had a DVD collection of it somewhere. I don't know. I think I might have mislaid it when I moved. I really need to rebuy it all.
Anyway, I think that's going to be a wrap up for this week. That's about a good time. Would you say, ladies and gentlemen?
I'd say, yeah. Just with the quick disclaimer at the end, just to say, we've only scratched the tip of the metaphorical iceberg.
Good Lord,
and if there's any we've missed, you know how to get in touch. So,
and
please
if you want
do.
to share your favourites or one that a cartoon that meant a lot to you, then get in touch. Let us know.
Yeah.
Believe me when we say this is something we're most likely going to be coming back to because, quite frankly, we've not even touched. I don't even think we've even scratched the surface.
We haven't even scratched the surface of the surface that we need to scratch. It's like, if you get what I mean, it's like it's literally like we are a gnat sat on the top of an iceberg.
It's like trying to destroy an iceberg at the top with an ice pick.
It's basically like trying to dismantle Kilimanjaro, the mountain, piece by piece with a toothpick.
Yeah, that's about right.
Spoon then, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's about right.
So
but
we've barely covered. So now is a good time to wrap up because otherwise we could go on for another 6 hours and, well, you haven't all got that much endurance and you've got other things to do with your lives. So let's wrap it up.
Yeah, pretty much. That's going to be a wrap up for the topics this week. We're going to jump straight into the plug section, which is going to be covered, which I'm just going to do straight off the spiel now.
Rock on. We'll take a back seat. You knock through them as quick as you can.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, the plugs are UKWA. We recommend you check out, which is also known as UK Wrestling Alliance. Yes, I know it's a bit of self-promotion as I am the owner of UKWA. I apologise if that upsets you, but I'm going to have to do a self-plug now and again, of course. But anyway, there's of course also if you want any photography needs, check out Tony Knox, Jessica Servo Photography, and Kerry Swift Photography. Amazing work. If you need any videography or any video recordings being done, check out BA Productions and SW Video. Absolutely amazing work that I've seen of their craft. Absolutely absolutely amazing. And believe me when I say this, absolutely a great value for price. And I, of course, also recommend you check out all charitable organisations like Changes for Health and Wellbeing, Changes for Recovery Radio, Mind, Mess for Mind, Donald Reed's Hospital Care for Children and Young People, Cancer Research UK. Check out all their websites. The information could prove massively useful. And, you never know, it could end up helping anyone that you might know. And on top of that, we of course also recommend you check out the lighter side of professional wrestling, be it either Botchamania, you're welcome Matthew, WrestleCrap,
you're welcome RD,
and of course OSW Review, you're welcome lads, and especially what bar are they today? But anyway, let's push on. We also recommend you check out the many broadcasts, and shows hosted by none other than Magic Mark Adams.
Let's count at least 5.
Probably. Be it either Pull or Pass radio show, Don't Say the C Word, or any of the many other ones that he has a part of. I'm just trying to remember what it's involved with. But anyway, the man is absolutely legendary. We, of course, also recommend you check out We the Independents, which is it's with an IE, not a Y, which is hosted by none other than Sugar Dunkerton with his amazing interviews. We of course also recommend you check out Think Wrestling, especially the Talking Wrestling interviews hosted by none other than Tom Baker. And no, we are not on about the former Doctor.
Fourth Doctor, no.
We of course also recommend you check out Train Pop Culture, as they absolutely have interesting topics that they cover, be it either from wrestling to drinking beer to movies to films. Who knows? It's not like we could talk to him at some point. Oh wait, we can. Who knows? Maybe we could do a mix up with them sometime. We of course also recommend you check out Hatred Theory, as they always somehow produce absolutely amazing episodes by letting out some absolute pure rage and comical way. And we of course also recommend you check out Cabe Fabe Music, especially because they do even the theme music for The Burning Truth. We of course also recommend you check out Powered 4 TV, especially because they've always got wrestling content on there, be it either broadcast, radio shows on there, and also for past wrestling shows on there as well. Hopefully they should be getting some more in the future soon, but it is always growing bigger and badder. And if I'm not mistaken, they're even getting some American company shows on there. So I believe they are getting some new content on there as well.
So it has been advertised on their social media, so it must be true.
Yes, and of course, we also always recommend you check out your local wrestling shows, be it either Future Championship Wrestling, United Wrestling, Pro Wrestling for You, Future Chuck Wrestling, Academy Pro Wrestling, Falling Star Wrestling, Venom Wrestling Federation, Slam Wrestling, Wolfen Pro, well, Slam Wrestling that was formerly known as Slam Wrestling, now known as Al Snow Wrestling Academy, I think, Wolfen Pro Wrestling, and of course, would that be the Barracks Pro Wrestling Academy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, and many, many others. In case if I've missed any off, I apologise. But if I have missed any off, don't worry. There's an app that can actually help you out to find your local promotion, and it's called Babyface Wrestling app. And how much is it, JB?
It is the princely sum of fuck all. It is free.
Free, where you can pretty much get check out all any local promotions that are in your area when they are back on. But if you want to support your promotion, you can follow your promotion on there and also some wrestlers.
Matt Burns is included if you'd like to boost his ego just a wee fraction.
Really. And of course, UK Ways on there as well. We of course also recommend, a bit of self-plug here for the Burning Truth, which is we recommend you check out the Burning Truth website, be it the www.theburningtruthuk.com. And as many of you may have figured out right now, yes, the blog page is getting updated regularly now. I promised it all this time. It is happening.
Stone the Crows.
You've been speaking to Brock Lesnar again. But anyway, moving on. The point being is, we have so much on building up more content on there, and there's going to be more added onto it. If anybody's interested in supporting the Burning Truth, check out the merchandise section on there, because we do actually have at the moment the odd mug and t-shirt on there at the moment, but we may be adding more on there soon.
There's no maybe about it. We will be adding more on there soon, so keep an eye out.
I was saying maybe in the sense of how soon it will be, but for the future there will be more getting added on. It's just when.
Yeah.
Very soon.
So when we say all checks made payable to the Burning Truth this time, we're not joking. Please support your favourite broadcast.
Yeah, and on top of that, we have external links on there, but understand we will be updating more than external links on there, because we will be adding some of the ones that we do cover at the end of each episode soon. But understand that we cannot be held responsible for external links, as we have no control of their content.
No.
And of course, you can check us out on social media, be it either Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and all the sorts. And if you want to listen to any past episode, we of course have, and don't you dare even imply I'm Granville again, Irvine. We do of course have the website, which I already stated it, Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes. Yes, we are on Amazon,
Google Podcasts,
Music.
Amazon, Deezer.
Amazon Music, and of course Google Podcasts, Deezer, and many other sources. Believe me, we somehow keep getting added on to many other sources, and that's going to be a wrap up for the I believe the plugs.
Which means that's pretty much a wrap up for this week. Thanks for listening.
Whoa,
Twice if
what
you caught the first one.
What the hell, dude? Stop rushing. Ease up. This is the most important, one of the most important parts that we have to cover right now.
I said thanks for listening. I didn't say good night. We haven't finished yet. I was just saying it's quite a test of stamina this week. We've been going God knows how long. I was just encouraging people for sticking with it this long. Calm your socks. Cool your beans. Seriously.
There's beans?
My tea there will be if they're not stone cold by the time they finish with this.
Wow, what are you going to do?
Get on with it.
What are you going to do? Stunner them. Anyway, this right now, we're going to cover the mental health side now. This is a bit more of the serious section. And let's just state this, ladies and gentlemen. When we say it is okay to be not okay, we really mean it. Asking for help isn't a weakness, and you can. But at the same time, you can also find out people do care for you more than ever. And of course, we always recommend you to never compare your behind the scenes to other people's greatest hits. Quote from Tom Campbell. And make yourself a priority once in a while. It's not selfish, it's necessary. And also, the last message still to this day that we always cover is, if you can be anything right now, please be more kind.
Yes.
Anybody else want to add on to that?
Yeah, I think I could add a little tittle onto the end of that.
Please do.
Please do add your little tittle. Anyway, so adding on to the mental health message, obviously, if it is our soothing voices that make you feel more comfortable, maybe you feel more comfortable talking to one of us. Feel free. Social media, we're always online. Always, Matt Burns. Always online, so you can get in touch with us. We are here for you, and that's pretty much all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Bang on.
I agree. I have nothing to add. That pretty much nails it.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I was pretty much getting lost with that one. But yeah, anyway, we're here for you, so don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be a stranger, I believe you were trying to say.
Ka-ching! Ding, ding, ding.
And with that, thank you very much for listening to this week's episode. Be it if it's the first time listening to this one, if this is the first time you've heard this version, yay! If this is the second iterating, apologies for what happened on the first one, but thank you very much for listening to the theme for the rest of it.
Yes, and if aside from any gremlins from this week, this is your first time listening and you've enjoyed it, thank you very much. Tell all your friends.
Please do, please do. And with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for listening to the episode. We, of course, always recommend you all to reach out to any family, colleagues and friends, as just a reach out or call and message can make their day. We, of course, always recommend you check out your local wrestling promotions, especially their social media. And, of course, that's a wrap up for this week. So please stay well, stay safe, and hope to catch you on the next episode. This has been emotional. And I've been Matt Burns.
I've been Job Law.
I've been James Irvine.
And we'll catch you on the next episode. Until then, catch you later.
On that bombshell, good night.
Goodbye.